Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something really fascinating.
Yeah. What do we got?
It's this mix of watches, history, and get this, heroic aviation.
Okay, intriguing.
We're looking at excerpts from Cuervo y Sobrinos, the Emilio Carranza chronograph. It paints this amazing picture of a unique watch and the pilot it's named after.
Right. And our mission, I guess, is to pull out the key takeaways for you.
Exactly. What's the deal with this brand? Who was this pilot? And what makes this watch tick?
Precisely. We want to help you understand what's really important in these sources. What makes this story and this watch stand out?
Okay, so let's start with the brand itself. Cuervo y Sobrinos. The source immediately calls them out as the only Swiss brand with Cuban roots.
Yeah, that's their big differentiator, isn't it? You don't see that every day in the Swiss watch world.
Not at all. It makes you wonder how that whole heritage thing, affects their watches.
Well, the source gives us the backstory. Founded way back, 1882, by a guy named Ramon Cuervo, an immigrant from Asturias, Spain, who set up shop in Havana.
1882 in Havana.
Wow. And they really lean into it. The source says they flaunt their Latin origins with a flamboyant design style that captures their heyday in the 1950s.
Flamboyant. I like that. So it's not your typical reserve Swiss thing?
Definitely not. It's part of their core identity.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How does this unique background, this sort of Cuban-Swiss fusion, how does it actually influence the watchmaking? Especially this chronograph we're looking at.
I think it deeply influences the stories they choose to tell, which then shapes the design. And this watch is a prime example. It's dedicated to Emilio Carranza.
Right, the pilot.
Exactly. The source calls him a pioneer of Mexican aviation in the early 20th century, known as the Lindbergh of Mexico.
The Lindbergh of Mexico.
Yeah.
That's a big title. It really tells you something about his status.
It does, and the source mentions his really ambitious flight attempt in 1928.
Ah, the Goodwill flight. Yeah. Mexico City to Washington, D.C., nonstop.
That was the plan. I mean, think about that for 1928. Incredible ambition.
So what happened? Did he make it?
Well, almost. The source says he hit heavy fog, had to land unexpectedly in North Carolina.
Ah, so close.
But he got to Washington the next day, and then apparently received with honors in New York, too. So a huge deal, despite the detour.
It shows incredible courage. And it's interesting, the source points out that Cuervo y Sobrinos did other watches for him before this one.
That's right. 2 years ago, they launched a trilogy of Vuelo timepieces in his memory.
Vuelo. Flight. Makes sense.
Yeah. So this new chronograph isn't just some random tribute. It's part of an ongoing relationship the brand has with his story.
What's fascinating here is how the brand consistently returns to such a poignant historical figure. It really cements that connection they're building.
It really does. It makes the watch more than just, a tool to tell time. It becomes a piece of history on your wrist. They're curating these little wearable narratives.
Wearable narratives, I like that. Which brings us squarely to the main event. The new 2025 Cuervo y Sobrinos chronograph Emilio Carranza. The source hints this one is even bolder than the earlier ones.
It definitely seems to have more presence. Let's look at the specs. Case size is pretty substantial. 44 millimeter diameter.
That's big.
Yeah, and 13.8 millimeter thick, so it's noticeable. Stainless steel, standard mix of polished and brushed finishes. Water resistance is 30 meters.
So, okay, for daily life, but not a dive watch. It's more about the style and the story.
Exactly. It's an elegant piece, a tribute piece.
And it's got those distinctive lugs, right? The historiador style.
Yes, the flared ones. And the source highlights a neat detail. They're hollowed out, revealing the screws attaching them to the case.
Oh, interesting. Gives it a bit of an industrial, maybe slightly technical look.
Sort of, yeah. And it mentions the pushers, the chronograph buttons are rectangular with a recessed area. Little details like that add refinement.
Nice. And the bezel.
It's tachymeter scale. Engraved right onto the bezel. Classic chrono feature for measuring speed.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. The crystal and the case back. The source mentions a double-curved sapphire crystal with AR coating.
Right, that slight dome effect. Looks great, often adds a vintage feel. And the anti-reflective coating is crucial for cutting down glare.
Totally. But the case back, screwed down, sealed, and engraved with Carranza and a vintage plane.
Yeah. That's where the storytelling really comes through physically on the watch itself. It's a very direct tribute.
It turns the back of the watch into this little commemorative plaque. Yeah. Very cool. Now the dial. The source says it's inspired by 1920s cockpit instruments.
Makes sense. Black background for contrast, which was typical. You needed clear readability in those early planes.
Yeah, it looks like they nailed the readability. Large Arabic numerals.
Treated with superluminova, that luminous paint, but it's a vintage beige color.
Ah, like aged loom. Nice touch. Matches the hands, too.
Yep. The cathedral-style hour and minute hands, those slightly ornate pointed ones, also have the beige loom. And the central chrono seconds hand, too, red tip and beige loom again. Consistent.
Good attention to the detail. What about the smaller dials, the subdials?
The chronograph counters, they're vertical.
Yeah.
Two of them, both with that snailed finish, that circular pattern.
Right, gives us texture.
You've got the 30-minute counter up at 12 o'clock and the 12-hour counter down at 6. And the date window is tucked into that 6 o'clock subdial.
Clever integration. But the source mentions something really charming at 9 o'clock.
Ah, yes, the small second subdial. Instead of a standard hand, it uses a propeller-style hand.
A little propeller. That's fantastic.
And in the background of that subdial, there's the outline of a 1920s airplane.
Okay, I love that. It's those little unique touches, plus the applied CSIS coat of arms, I assume.
Exactly. Ties it all back to the brand.
So beautiful story, beautiful design. What's making it run? What's under the hood?
Well, hidden beneath the caseback, as the source puts it, is an ETA Valjoux 7750.
Ah, the 7750, the classic.
The absolute workhorse automatic chronograph movement, cam-operated, robust, super reliable. It's, tried and tested.
Definitely. People know that movement. Specs.
Standard 750 specs, basically. About 30 millimeters by 7.9 millimeters thick. Beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour.
That's 4 hertz. Smooth sweep.
Yep. And delivers a pretty standard 48-hour power reserve. Solid, dependable engine for the watch.
And the strap brings it all together.
Seems like it. The source describes a vintage-style distressed leather strap with ecru stitching. Ecru is that sort of off-white beige color.
Matches the loom.
Exactly. And a standard steel pin buckle. It all fits that vintage aviation vibe. The reference number, by the way, is 32 Aero 1.1 EC.
Good to know. And the price?
Retails for EUR 4,500, including tax.
Okay, so EUR 4,500 for a watch that's, well, it's quite a package, isn't it?
It really is.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from this unique Cuban-Swiss brand identity
to the story of this pioneering Mexican aviator, Emilio Carranza.
All wrapped up in this pretty substantial vintage-inspired chronograph with lots of neat details.
Right. It's a great example of how a watch can be more than just specs. It's about the heritage, the story, the tribute.
It's that idea of wearable history you mentioned, a tangible link to courage culture.
Absolutely. And I think if we connect this to the bigger picture for you, the listener, it highlights how Cuervo y Sobrinos uses history and identity, not just as marketing, but as a core part of the product itself.
To weave the story right into the metal and mechanics.
Precisely. Making that history something you can, quite literally, carry with you.
Which leads to a pretty interesting thought to leave you with.
Go on.
Well, think about how an object like this watch isn't just tracking hours and minutes. It's holding history, celebrating bravery, reflecting a unique cultural blend. So maybe take a look around. What unexpected stories, what hidden histories might be tucked away inside the everyday objects you interact with?
That's a great question to ponder.
We hope this deep dive sparks some ideas. Keep exploring those surprising facts and rich narratives all around us.